Hello, this is Brenda Green, and I'd like to welcome you to Living in the Go. Today, I want to talk to you about compound interest. You've probably heard about it, and if you haven't, then this is a nice little intro for you. Compound interest drives the money that you make. If you understand compound interest, you know that it can help you to become wealthy because there are two types of interest, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that. So let's get into it. When it comes to calculating interest, there are two basic choices. You have either simple or compound interest. Simple just means that they set a percentage of the principal every year. So I have an example here on the slide, and let's say you have $10,000 that you put into a fund. So you're going to get 8% interest on that at the end of the year. So if you put it in January 1st, December 31st, you're going to have 8% interest on that $10,000, and that's going to be $10,800 at the end of the year. Sounds good, but that's simple interest. Compound interest is very different because, for example, compound interest is no timetable of when they're going to give you the interest. That could happen daily, that could happen weekly or monthly. In this example, I'm showing you quarterly. Let's say they put the interest in your account every quarter. At the end of the year, you're going to have $10,824. If they put it in there monthly, at the end of the year, you're going to have $10,830. So just that simple difference of doing the compound interest will generate more income for you. So it's something you need to think about. Compound interest essentially means the interest on top of the interest. And that's the reason a lot of investors really do like being in the stock market, and they're very successful with it. So if you think of it that way, when you look at simple interest, that $10,000 that you put into a fund is getting 8% a year. At the end of 30 years, that's only going to generate about $34,000 for you. That's not a lot of money. However, if it's in the stock market and it's compounding, so it's not simple interest, but it's compound interest, you could potentially have $100,000 in that same fund. Very different numbers, but so much more rewarding. So that's why you want to try to understand compound interest and use it to your advantage because there are so many benefits to making sure you understand it and having it in the right kind of vehicles to make you that kind of money. So, as always, I do have my beliefs, so I'm going to share those with you. The earlier you start, the more you can make. I talked about that $10,000 example. Let's say that you put 10,000 into a fund and it's growing pretty well and you decide you don't want to put any more money into it. That's okay. That $10,000 will grow to $100,000 because it's got compound interest on its side. So the earlier you start, the better. However, if you start late, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be aggressive. I'll use my own self as an example. I got divorced around 40 when I was 40 years old, and I had nothing. I left that marriage with nothing to my name, and I said, I need to do something. I need to be aggressive. I need to get in the stock market and make some money for me and my children. And I did. All I'll say is that it worked out for me, and it can for you too. Step out of your comfort zone. Try some different types of investments. I have a couple of videos where I talk about investing. And if you're afraid of the stock market, then you can do mutual funds, bonds. It's a nice way to get in and make a little extra money. And again, that compound interest will work for you. If somebody tells you the stock market isn't for them, ask them why. Because sometimes people will just say, oh, I don't want to do that. It's risky. And I hear that a lot in my community of people saying, oh, I don't want to lose my money. I'm just going to keep it in the bank if I get any. Well, if you have it in a savings account, if you're getting 1% on that, it's not keeping up with inflation, which is at 3 to 4% right now. So you're really losing money. So educate yourself, read books, understand how you can grow your money in the stock market. Step out there, talk to people. There are thousands of things out there on YouTube. There are people who do this for a living. They talk about finances all the time. Educate yourself so you'll feel a little more comfortable. But make sure that you get into it and understand compound interest because it is definitely what you want to do. And the last thing is a goal without a plan is just a wish. And I'm going to say that over and over again because sometimes we try to do things and we don't map it out. We don't figure out what the steps are. So you want to make sure that you plan to be successful. So thank you so much for your time and attention. Again, hopefully you like this. If you did, share it with your friends. Hit the like button, subscribe, because again, we're spreading this information. We want to make sure that we are financially savvy, that we have wonderful futures ahead of us. So thanks again, and to the next time.